like and share the show. And those of you on YouTube, let me know what's going on over there. Um, okay, good. So I don't know if there's something going on with YouTube because I don't hear sound. And so, anyway, yes, like and share the show. Spread the word. Why? Because we can all use some good news. Where's my banner? I'm looking for it. It's usually close up. Uh, Come on now. Here we go. That's it. Just in case you didn't hear it, you can see it. And in this space, in this place, in this space, I want to just invite you to just take a moment. Whatever you're doing, whether you're driving, whether you're cooking, whether you're sitting down, just take a moment to just quiet yourself on the inside and recognize that stillness doesn't mean always you don't have to be like not in action. You can be in stillness while in the middle of doing something, while running, while jogging, while cooking. It's an inner decision, an intention to just still, to quiet your mind, to connect with that inner self, the part of you that goes beyond the judgment, the part of you that can never be sad, doesn't care to be happy because it is all. Even though on a human level you may experience that, experience something as sadness, as happiness, there is a part of you that is just, you don't understand what I'm saying? It's really simple. How could you not understand? Let me tell you. Think of fire, think of the air, think of water. Do you think water is sad? I don't think so. Somebody might come up with a theory and say, well, really? No, water can respond to sadness. Water responds to happiness. But water, fire, air, the earth, neutral. Whatever you do to Mother Earth, she'll replenish. You can cut down the trees because you don't care. But the truth is, Mother Nature will repair itself. And guess who's going to deal with the consequences of your action? You. Your disconnection from Mother Nature, your disconnection from somebody else affects you first in all kind of ways. And I'm not saying that it's not like, it's not a punishment. It just cause and effect. The attitude you bring to life, to earth, to your relationship, to things that you do determines what you get back in return. You know, sometimes we're fighting and pushing. There's some people saying, well, the rich people, the rich that. Yeah, okay, they might have the money, but we don't know what else is going on in their world. And you got CEO of big companies jumping off buildings. Not making fun. I'm just saying we gotta slow down sometimes to look at what is really going on in the world. And in a world where we're told money is the key. No. Be like water. Be like fire. Tap into that higher self. And when you do, in that place, you can just, or even if you can't get to it, I've got something for you to get you there, to just say, okay, I'm going to tap into something bigger than me. Take a breath. Put your hand on your heart if you can. Close your eyes if you can. And if it doesn't make sense to close your eyes, then don't. Because it certainly don't make sense to close your eyes while you're driving. Even though we live in a society where we must tell people, if you're driving, don't close your eyes. It's like, come on. You don't need to. Just listen to that guidance. Sometimes just having your hand on your heart when you're pissed, when you're angry, when someone is getting on your nerve, will just calm you down. Will just calm you down. And you can say these affirmations. I am present. I am here. I am now. I am present. I am here. I am now. I am present. I am here. I am now. You can flip it around. I am here. I am present. I am now. Now is the only thing that is happening. That's not some woo-woo, mumbo-jumbo New Age, and you can call it that if you want. But now it's the only thing that is happening. So whether you're mad about something that was done to you in the past, all of that is happening now. And this is the place where you can change it, where you can shift it, where you can forgive it. So your power's in the now. And right now, this is season 4, episode 32. And right now, in this moment, today, for me, in the next moment, a few hours later, it'll be a different day. But right now, it is Tuesday, September 13th, 2022. And I want to invite you to ask yourself deeper questions. How do you see yourself? How do you see the world? How do you see yourself in the world? And how do you see the world in you? Simple questions. It's as simple as love. Those questions are as simple as beauty, harmony, health. Because when you are in love, when you are experiencing health, when you are joyful, you feel it, but it's like sometimes hard to describe. You're like, well, I don't know. I just feel the peace. I don't know. It just feels good. But Lord help us when we're in pain, when we're going through and going through struggles. Let me tell you, and this happened, and that happened, because something feels out of place, and we judge what is happening. Now, there's one thing to judge what is happening when you're going through it and growing through it. There's another thing to go and grow through it and not judge it. And when you judge it, to catch yourself. Because sometimes judging just happens. Before you can think the word, you're already judging someone. So this is not even about don't judge. Okay. Because even saying don't judge is judging. Because you're saying it is possible to focus on something that's not right when something right is going on. That's also a judgment. How do you say, how else can you say that? You can say that, or you can say accept what is happening. None of it is better than the other. It's just us rewiring how we think, how we see the world. We have been sold a lot of BS. That's why it's important to ask the question, how do I see myself? How do I see myself today? I get to experience this when I'm doing my work, when I'm doing this podcast. I feel my inside move through shifts. Sometimes there are moments when I'm nervous, like, oh my God, okay, I got everything I need. Okay, the lights are on, the mic is working. Ooh, I go through this mental gymnastics. And then I might move to a phase where I just feel so calm. And then I'm like, why am I so calm? Do I need to be thinking about something? I'm too calm. I got to know what to say. But there's nothing to say. I'm just in this peaceful place, which is where we want to be most of the time. To empty the mind so that when it's time to show up, you allow what wants to be spoken through you, because you're one with the great I am. You're one with the divine. So whether it's about the death of someone, whether you call them the queen, the king, your mother, your father, your uncle, and it brings up all sorts of emotion. First of all, it is important to be still. Allow yourself to feel what you feel. Whether it's you want to highlight the injustice that's been done in the world, or you're feeling sad, or maybe you're feeling sad and you want to highlight the injustice that's done in the world. All of us are walking contradictions. And yes, there's some people who've done some horrible things. I was telling a friend of mine today, I have learned more about the British Empire in the last 2, 3, 4, 5 days than I have learned in 30, 40 years. Some things I knew, but there have been some teachers teaching us. Like, this is why we're speaking up about the Queen. This is what they did. And the beauty of it is, that's what death does. When there is a death, a dissolving, something else appears. When there is a death, something is birthed. So even what is hidden is revealed. And there are those of us who would say, no, this is not the time to talk about what's being revealed. Now we've moved the veil. Now let's not talk about that. Let's all just focus on this. Most of the time, whoever it is, whether it's death or whatever the case may be, those who are in support is because they have a deeper connection to what is happening or to the person. Those who don't have a connection be like, I don't give a flip. I don't care. And we are as human beings, we don't want to. We don't want to focus on things that make us uncomfortable. And there are those of us who want to be in a place of power, supremacy. There's white supremacy, there's male supremacy, there's financial supremacy. And there's some people who are just gung-ho on you not knowing the truth. And there's some people who are gung-ho about telling the truth. You may not like how they're telling the truth, how they're showing it to you, reminding you. It may trigger some stuff, but you have the power. I have the power. We have the power to just stop and say, what is true for me? How do I see myself in this world? Whether you call it Black Twitter, Irish Twitter, British Twitter, the Queen, the Empire, the politicians, it's ongoing. I had a thought today I want to share. It's kind of random, but I want to hopefully it will come back. It was something about how the West does corruption. The West, the Western leaders, government are quick to say countries in Africa are corrupted. But the way they do it came to me this morning. Well, I was in the shower. It's like, ooh, I like that. Hopefully it will come back to me. But leaders, for the most part, they're flipping same. And they're insane. And there are too many things that's been done in the name of greed and a hunger for power and overpowering that has been revealed, that has caused pain and causing pain, struggle. People are suffering because they can't afford health insurance. People are suffering because they don't have enough money coming in. Oh yeah, so the thought is something to do with, I was thinking about the, just the whole thing, the cost of living and the energy amount going up here in UK, and the companies who are providing this energy are making profits, billions of pounds and dollars, but they keep raising it. And there's something that came this morning. It's like, that's how they do corruption. They do it in a way where we like profit. Because we all like the sound of profit. We like what it sounds like. Who doesn't want to make a profit? But people are suffering. So there's a part of us that says, yeah, profit, that's a good thing. But wait. And there's some of us that say, But then you have leaders who just say, well, we're going to see how we could help the people. I'm about to go up. How about flipping? I would say the other word. I probably will eventually. How about taking part of that profit and helping people? It's amazing. My intros, man, they become a whole podcast. This is just the intro. I haven't even gotten to today's show. I've been touching it, though. I've been touching it. Today's topic is pain and struggle. They are sacred gifts. Struggles that you've gone through. Struggles as sacred gift. I will tell you more about that. Hey, Kathy. Hey, New Jace. William, my brother. Reverend William is in the house. Welcome, welcome. And those of you that are listening, watching, maybe you're not in front of your computer, your device, but you're listening. Every now and then come in and say, yes, teach, say that part. Lets me know that I'm hitting you. Ooh, I see a comment in here that I can't wait to read. That I'm hitting the right spot. And share it. Share your thoughts. Share your pushbacks. Like, well, I've been listening to you for a long time, many years now, but on this point, I'm going to disagree. Share it, because you may disagree with me, and I read what you say and go, you know what? That is true. That is true. However, I'm always going to have and, because I live in a world of both and, not either or. That's the world I live in. When you live in that world, from that perspective, from that mindset, you are accessing peace. You will access peace. That's right. Pain and trouble and struggle. as sacred gifts. Kathy is about to make me go deep. I just saw some, on IG. Let me see here. I have been thinking so much about leadership lately, Ade, about how the pyramid needs to shift into a circle so that leaders is it's hard to read this. So that leaders are directly connected. Here we go. Leaders are directly connected to bother the top and you mean both the top and the bottom. I like that. Let me read that again with my glasses now. I've been thinking so much about leadership lately. How the pyramid needs to shift into a circle so that leadership is directly connected to both the top and the bottom. And you know what? I love that. And that's what's happening. That's what's happening. And those who are holding onto the pyramid shape, yeah, like the Trinity. And when I say Trinity, it's more than religion. See, there's something before religion. There's something before in the beginning. In the beginning was a point in time. There's a continuum. So whenever you say in the beginning or what happened, when did it happen? That's just in that moment of a continuum of things that are happening. So there's something that happened before the Bible. There's something that happened before the Quran. There was something that happened before there was the written word. Before the written word was the spoken word. And the spoken word was coming from the creative life force that is all that is. In the Bible talks about in the beginning was God, and there was nothing that was created without the word. Do you know what the word is? Do you know? I'm actually going to flip how I'm going to answer that because I was going to say this. Well, actually, I'm going to say it the way I used to say it. Even God didn't exist before the word. And this is not about you being Christian or whatever. And if you're Christian and you're like, wait. Just stay with me here. The word, capital W, is the creative life force out of which everything was birthed. However you want to tell the creation story, however you believe the creation story, go on YouTube and type 25 creation stories. You will learn about creation stories from different parts of the world. The creation story in the Bible is just one creation story. Just one. There are many more. And you know, when you sit with the creation stories and you listen, you will see that the story is talking about there was something that was nothing, that became something that came out of nothing and joined with something else that came out of nothing. Something came out of nothing to be something. You came out of nothing to be someone. The essence of you is no one. You are nobody. You are nobody. And in the physical sense, you're doing the spiritual practice, you're doing your personal development to be somebody. Sometimes we want to be somebody through work, the labels and the things that we achieve. But there's so many ways to be somebody. And then one day you realize, I don't have to be a somebody. I can be a nobody because in being nobody, I am everybody. Every man, every woman. That's right, Kathy. Yes, 25 creation stories. It will blow you away. There's creation stories from the continent of Africa. There's creation stories from the indigenous people of New Zealand. So when we have pain and I haven't even got into the show, but I've gotten into the show. When you think of pain, when you think of struggle, I'm inviting you today to allow yourself to listen differently, to see differently. It will set you free. So much so that when you are in pain, you can experience the pain and say, I don't like this. I don't want this. And yet you can hold a space for your body to deal with it. All right. So I want to do an announcement Woo, Lord. Mm, I'm grateful. I'm grateful. So, season 4 of Ade Presents Being You, the podcast, is coming to an end. Now, don't get confused. Someone said, I thought you said last week was the last one. No, 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 no. But it might be a little bit confusing. So, next week is going to be the last, air quotes, last episode of season 4, because today's episode 32. Seasons go for 33 shows. The first one, season 1, was longer, and I think 2 may be a little bit longer too. But anyway, so next week is episode 33. That's the last show. However, I am working on interviewing, getting somebody to join me next week. But they may not be able to join me next week. So I offered the possibility of the following week, which is the 27th. If I hear back from them and they can do the 20th next week, then that will be the official last show. Okay? For season 4. For season 4. All right, stay with me, take a deep breath. But if they can't make next week, but they can make the week after, then we have an additional show. However, season 5 will go on, the podcast will go on hiatus for a little while until next year, January 15th, which is the second Tuesday of that month. And it's going to be on YouTube. I will let you know I'm going live on Facebook. But if you want to follow me, if you want to find out, then basically you need to subscribe to youtube.com/Life Coach Ade, which once again, here we go. There it is. Subscribe now. Now, there might be some times when I come on here, Facebook, and do a live. There might be. I don't know. I'm working on some things that needs my focus, and I'm shifting the paradigm. I'm shifting the paradigm within my own self. And I might go into that a little bit more. But anyway, yes. So we got one more episode to go next week. If by any chance I can't get the special guest to join me next week, but they can join me the following week, then we'll have a bonus episode. But if they can't join me at all, then next week will be the last one. Just follow me on Facebook, Instagram. Find me. Google me. I'm Googleable. Just put my name, first 2-3 pages. And in about 30 minutes from now, my dear friend Nikki Roach, Nikki, Nicci Roach, interviewed me, and that will be airing today in about 30 minutes. That's 2 p.m. Eastern. It's going to be archived, so you can catch it on Facebook and you can catch it on YouTube. If you want to go, I'll post it anyway once it's aired. It's also going to air on AM radio in America. I can't remember the call letters now, but I'll post it so you can get it. Great conversation, so don't miss it. You get double dose of me. All right. So I think I'm ready to go deep. Let's go into pain. Let's go into struggles. Before I go into pain, before I go into struggles, before I talk about your pain, my pain, your struggle, my struggle, I want to read Daily Thoughts. Daily Thoughts from the Hill. Daily Thoughts from the Hill. It's a daily inspirational booklet. Sometimes it's called a monthly inspiration, but you know, it has daily inspiration on it. It's a monthly thing with daily inspirations. And I'm one of the writers, so I write 3 times a year now. And I wrote for the month of September. So I was reading this morning, and I just said, I just love divine order. I love God. I love life. I appreciate, I give thanks that I can listen to guidance. When you listen to guidance, you start to see signs and evidence that you are listening. Not as a grade, but if you want to, One way to know if you're tuned in is to watch the signs and symbols. So this idea of pain and struggle are sacred, they're really sacred gifts. But I wanted to emphasize that they're sacred, first of all, as opposed to something that we judge and criticize. "Oh, I'm going through too much struggle." You can feel that way, but recognize the struggle is sacred. That pain is struggle. Pain is struggle. Pain is sacred. It may not feel right. It may cause a lot of dysfunction. It may turn your life upside down, but it's still sacred. So I read today's daily thoughts because I've gotten to a place now where I can read my own daily thoughts, because there were times I still have moments where I read them like, "Oh no, I should have said it this way." But I can read now, look forward to seeing what I wrote for the day. And when I was reading this, I said, how in alignment is this? I didn't plan it. So the affirmation for today is, my life is a lesson of love. Today's Tuesday, September 13th, 2022. The daily thought is, the affirmation is, my life is a lesson of love. I'm so full right now with gratitude. Here we go. Listen to this, because it might sound like nice words, but listen to this. Take it in. Allow yourself to just listen differently. Even if you've read it before, maybe you have daily thoughts from the hill. Listen differently. Being on a spiritual path is a choice to see the spiritual in our humanness and to see our humanness in the spiritual. The spiritual idea that the goodness of God is present in every moment is a daily lesson. The spiritual idea that the goodness of God is present in every moment is a daily lesson. A spiritual human being is an integrated being. She understands that the essence of God is in all. He knows that God is the only thing happening because God is all there is. Let that sink in for a moment. God is all there is. All there is. Let's continue. I rest in God's ever-present love. My life is a demonstration of God consciousness. I am committed to seeing God in the mundane. I allow the sacred to reveal itself to me in the most unexpected circumstances. I open my heart and let life be. My life is a life of devotion to love and to being loving. My heart is the key to this mystical dance and life lesson. Thank you, order in me, through me, as me, around me, through the Christ within, and so it is. And to know the love of Christ, which surpasses all knowledge, that you may be filled with all of the fullness of God. Ephesians 3:19. The love of Christ is the love of the divine. It's the love of God. Christ consciousness is what's been talked about here. It's not, it expresses as a human being. Christ is not even Jesus's last name. That's a whole different show. That's a whole different webinar. Your Christ nature, your divine nature. And to know the love of your divine nature, which surpasses all knowledge, that you may be filled with all of the fullness of God. When you allow your true nature to just take you over and forget about what is right or wrong, what is moral or what it isn't, just for a moment, to fall into the fullness of God. Now, I say that from a place of assumption that we all see God the same way. You're welcome, my brother. It's a pleasure to write the daily thoughts. We don't see God the same way. Our understanding is different. Everyone has a different understanding of God. And some people will tell you the way they see God, their understanding of God is the only way. It isn't. Get off your high horse. I'm going to go all the way out there and say to actually think the way you see God is the only way to see God is ignorant. It's spiritual malpractice. Now, on a religious perspective, it may be like, yeah, I mean, come on. But I'm talking about spirituality, that truth, the essence, the nature that joins us all together. Whether you're Buddhist, whether you're Christian, whether you're an atheist, agnostic, it doesn't matter because everything is an expression of God. God is all there is. I see God in all as all. To go back to Christianity, to go back to the Bible, we're told in the Bible, God is all knowing, all powerful, everywhere, evenly present. That there is no spot where God is not. Is not. In the Bible, it said, whether you lay your bed in heaven, I am there. Whether you're in hell, God said, I am there. But many people ain't trying to go to hell, even though God is there. If you love God so much, how come you're trying to be with God in hell? When you're going through painful experience, it feels like hell. God is there. Oh, Lord, I know I feel like coming across like a preacher now. People tell me, preach. I tell myself, preach. I don't have any bars in this school. What do you mean? Quali, I don't understand what you mean, bars. Somehow I feel kind of nervous about that. I don't know why that made me nervous. Explain. Dr. Naeem Akbar is in the house. Thank you, William. Yes, preach. I ran from that for many years, but I don't care right now. I just let God be God. Dr. Naeem said on Facebook, is Mind Pro, a wonderful manifestation of divine order. I didn't read all of it. Your daily thought entry synchronizes with today's topic. Amen. It does. It does. It does. And, I'm telling you, I feel so full that I'm pacing myself, full in a way that makes me emotional, makes me teary. And it's not from sadness. I guess it's more joy. It's when we pull back the veil, like in the midst of all that I'm going through, in the midst of all that you're going through, in the midst of all that is happening, there is God. And when you feel that, sometimes you just want to be quiet. Sometimes you just want to shout. Sometimes you're crying and people say, what's wrong? It's like absolutely nothing. But why are you crying? Because I touched the hem of the garment of the Christ within me. Okay, Kwale, I got you. You don't have bars on your phone, 5G. Yes. Well, you can always catch the... Yeah. I'm sending you bars. See if I can drop some bars for you. I'll do my best. Oh, my God. I am so full right now. And from that place of fullness, I just want to say that whatever you're going through and growing through, trust the process. I'm telling you, if I tell you what I'm going through, you might start crying for me. Now, let me be clear. I'm not saying I'm going through hell. Sometimes it feels like it. But I'm in a place where I'm just like, how is this going to turn out? But you know what? I had a demonstration today. I had a conversation with my older sister yesterday, looking for help, and she couldn't help me. And I felt something in the pit of my stomach, like, oh my God, I need help. I just stayed with it. And this morning, I had a miracle. I had a shift in perspective. I had a shift with regards to how I was looking at what I thought was a problem. And you know what's funny? I had the answer. I didn't even need my sister to help me. I had everything I needed to do what I needed to do. Because last night I said, okay, if she's not able to support me, there's got to be a way. There's got to be a way, because there's always a way. So when you're experiencing pain, when you're experiencing struggles, it's life lessons. When you're praying to be successful, to thrive, to flourish, to be great, to be so much more, you are also welcoming pain. How many of us would say, well, I ain't trying to welcome no pain. I was going to say I'm welcoming pain when I want to be successful. You are welcoming pain, because when you want to be successful, when you hold in the consciousness, when you're saying the intention to be successful, to move to the next level, you're inviting yourself. Boy, let's try this. I think my body is recalibrating. Like, slow down, slow down. When you ask to move to the next level, when you ask to be in a relationship, when you ask to be out of a relationship, when you're praying for peace in the world, when whatever it is, whatever you're doing, you're inviting yourself to step out of a comfort zone, a way that you were once used to. And sometimes the stepping out can be scary. It can be painful. It can feel like a struggle. Whether it's physical struggle, mental struggle, psychological struggle, pain, actually, I want to say mental pain, emotional pain, mental pain, psychological, whatever pain it is, if you choose it to be so, it can give you back to yourself. I know that, but I ain't trying to run. I'm telling you, I ain't trying to run to no pain. But you know what? You don't have to run to pain, because pain is just waiting. Ooh, look who's coming this time. Oh, this is gonna be good. Come on. Oh, you're praying? You're praying to be successful? Come on. Come on, I got something good for you. Now, you may not think it's good, but come on, I got you. You know, life is committed to breaking us open. Life's commitment is to break you open. And when you break open, if you break open unconsciously, it can damage your mind, it can damage your body, it can damage the way you see the world. But the great thing about life, when it breaks you open and you are unconscious, life will also remind you, it's okay. It's okay, I got you. You're unconscious, but I'm conscious enough to guide you through this. So the spiritual journey, the Daily Thought said, being on a spiritual path is a choice to see the spiritual in our humanness. To see pain and struggle as sacred is a choice. And to see our humanness in the spiritual. So when you're effing up, when you betray somebody, when you did something you swore you would never do, when you did something that you're ashamed of and you don't even know how it happened, and you say, I don't know, I feel so bad, I feel so guilty, one thing just led to another. Life's got you. Can you see the spiritual in that? You may not see it in that moment, but if you just allow yourself to feel what you feel, whether you're judging yourself, criticizing yourself, blaming yourself, or blaming another, if you're doing the work, as you continue to do the work, one day you will get to the other side and say, oh my God, that was fucking hard. I'm so glad I'm on the other side. And this is what I learned. Pain, struggle. We're all feeling on so many levels because I feel like we're not amplifying the fact that we're living in a new world. We're living in a world that has never existed before. We are beings that have never existed before. Let me say that differently. We exist, we come out of, we're expressed out of the divine. We're having an experience that humanity has never had before. So we're new at this. We're new to this. And it's hard out here for a pimp and for a spiritual student. It's hard. So we need compassion. Even if you say, well, something told me not to do that or go that way or drive too fast or drink or drive or whatever the case may be, to not be in that relationship. Whatever it is, if you get to a point where you say, okay, pain, this pain is a gift, a sacred gift. I don't know, struggle, okay, I'm willing. When you give yourself that permission, It changes how you see yourself. It changes how you see your world. It changes how you see the world, how you see yourself in the world and the world in you. Because life is committed to breaking you open. That's right. When you're praying for expansion, you're going to break open. Life is committed to breaking an orange seed open so that the orange seed, can be an orchard. A seed can't be an orchard, can't produce fruit if it doesn't what's the word I'm trying to say? It's not broken open. Yeah, even if that doesn't make sense, it makes sense because you're in the vibe. Okay? You must break open for your potential to be released. And the idea of breaking open sounds scary. But you know what? When you do it from a conscious perspective, you allow yourself to break open by falling in love. I'm taking all the ideas that people want to embrace and hold on to. Like, I'm just messing it up. Break open? You mean that's something to embrace? Yes! Break open! Let something so magnificent express itself through you. I never saw myself as a writer. Sometimes when I'm reading, I have so many books I haven't finished reading. I get bored reading sometimes. Let me say that up. Let me slow down. I get bored reading sometimes because, one, I need my mind to be captivated. And there are books that captivate my mind. More so now, I see myself as a writer. But when I was younger, I just thought, I remember the first book I read is called The Director, and it was a series. I can't remember the name of the series. And I made a dedication to myself. I must have been like, I don't know, 12, 13. And it was during the Ramadan season. So once we have breakfast in the morning, around 3, well, it was around 4 o'clock. Oof, I remember those times. And then sometimes we go back to sleep and wake up to go to school. And I just decided to read. Now, reading writers, they kind of go hand in hand, but not always. You can love to read and not be a writer. Daily thoughts, actually, well, no, that's not true. I was going to say daily thought is what brought me out. Well, in a way, it's my daily thoughts from the hill is my coming out story. However, I used to write, I had a blog, and if you Google it, you find some things out there. If you do, what did I call it? Heart Speaks. Let me see if I can. No, we won't deal with that right now. Just Google my name, Heart Speaks. If you do Heart Speaks, Ade Heart Speaks, you'll find stuff that I used to write. And I used to get so mad writing because once I catch an idea and start writing, it just keeps flowing and there's more. And I'm like, oh my God, this is too long. Ain't nobody trying to read this. I don't want to reread it for typos. But now it's serving me. Now have recommitted myself to my book of inspirations. That book has been ready for a long time. Now I'm tweaking it, got a designer. It's like, we're getting that book out. When I read it, I'm inspired. So in this world, from a human perspective, yeah, I'm a writer, but I am so much more than that. What am I saying? When we open ourselves, we discover some things about ourselves that we didn't know we could be or do. Like, I never saw myself as that. You don't know what you can do until it's the only thing you can do. Yes. Dr. Naim said, pain of the crucifixion demonstrates its significance as a part of the transformation. Woo! Yes, just I feel like I could do a thesis on that. The pain of the crucifixion, when you're getting crossed out, it demonstrates its significance as a part of the transformation. You must die to be rebirthed. Nobody wants to die. I'm generalizing, but for the most part, we don't want to die. We miss people who are dying, and we say they're in a better place, but we ain't trying to meet them. But it's not even the dying of the physical body. It's the dying of old ideas, of beliefs that was passed on to you that's not even true. Beliefs of, in order to know God, you need Jesus. Jesus is a path. Jesus is a path. Muhammad is a path. You may not like how the followers of Jesus or Muhammad or Buddha are demonstrating or demonstrating their faith, but it's a path. I was listening to Thich Nhat Hanh the other day, an interview he did with Oprah, and he was talking about during the war in his country, um, and how monks were setting themselves alight on fire. And he said that was a demonstration of giving your life up for humanity. I ain't got it. Not I, said this cat. I don't have it. Now, when we look at other people's experiences, we think, oh my God, how did they get through that? But you know, somebody else can look at your own experience and wonder how you got through it and how you're getting through it. So this conversation is an opportunity to turn the spotlight on yourself and ask yourself deeper questions. Life is committed to breaking you open. And the breaking open process is a sacred process. So rather than go to, why is this happening to me? I have dealt with all kind of challenges, like from time to time. There's so many things, there's so many ideas, dreams, and visions that I believed I would have achieved by now, even though I never put a date by it. But if you had asked me 20 years ago, oh yeah, by the time I'm 50, over 50, oh please, I would have, I could see it right now. And some of the dreams, when I put a date to, that hasn't happened. Let me let you into a secret. There were times when I judged myself for not being able to create that, manifest that. How can I say I know God? I'm teaching, writing daily thoughts, inspiring people, could see a different perspective, coach people, counsel people, and I can't see that for myself. There was a story that I carried for so long. But in my commitment, in your commitment to know, to see, to understand, you realize that what it means to be spiritual and what it means to be human is a contradiction. There's a contradiction. There's a paradox. And when we walk in the middle to embrace the contradiction, like I am a walking contradiction, you are a walking contradiction. Life is paradoxical. One minute you feel strongly about one thing, and the next minute you're debating somebody else about that thing that you were once convicted about and saying no, it's not. But if they happen to hear you 5 minutes ago, weren't you saying, yeah, but that's different? No, understand that it's not, but that's different. It's like in that context, yes. In this context, no. And as a matter of fact, I don't even know. This is just what it feels like. And the more we allow ourselves to live in the paradox, live the contradiction, well, it doesn't matter if you allow yourself to live it. It doesn't matter. You're already in it. So whatever you're not able to achieve, whatever you're struggling with, it's not an indication of your worth. It's not an indication of your value. It's an indication of your humanity. And this is the gift of pain and suffering and struggle and troubles. It's a gift. So you can recognize there's more. So you can recognize that you're not in control like you thought you were. No matter how enlightened you are, no matter how spiritual, religious, whatever, I don't believe in something outside of myself. I just trust me, and that's good enough for me. That there's some things you are not in control of. So when you're experiencing pain, struggle, suffering, trouble, life is reminding you, calm down. Calm the flip down. I got this. Your gifts are revealed or birthed through you when you surrender to the transformational process. You transform, you change the form where something that you were holding on to before, like this is the only way. You get to a point where you're going, perhaps. Like, how do you know that God is all there is? You don't know what you're talking about. Perhaps. What if God is not all there is? Perhaps God is no. I mean, okay. Oh, the devil is out there. Your ego is strong. Your ego will always try. Yes, those things happen. But a spiritual being who will recognize that they're spiritual being, recognizing, knowing that you are a spiritual being, it helps you to get to a place where you welcome your spiritual self and your human self. And everybody's going through their battle. They're going through their success story. Everybody is dealing with whatever they're dealing with. And if you can hold that in consciousness, in your mind, in your heart, maybe not all the time, but you work on making sure you bring that forward. So when someone comes for you, when they come at you, you don't even have to say, don't try me, try God. Because if they try you, you're both going to be tried, because you're going to feel uncomfortable, because there you are. Now you feel like you put someone else in their place. Guess what? It's all energy. It's all energy. So rather than say, don't try me, try Jesus, you can say, try me. Because when you try me, it's an opportunity for me to grow. You recognize that sometimes things that people are bringing to you ain't even yours. And when you know that, you're like, this ain't my shit. That's yours. And because I know it ain't my shit, we can have a shift. And if you don't want to shift, I'll shift. It's kind of hard right now. Woo! But part of my shift may be me unfollowing you as just an act. And I had to do that this past week. Something happened and I brought it up. And for me, the way the person responded was kind of like, oh, yeah, that happened, but I went a different direction. And I responded like, I would have appreciated some conversation now. I'd appreciate a follow-up like this. What we did together that took a lot of time, is you can say, I'm no longer doing it. I knew that was the case because I felt it. It's been years. But I was being the nice spiritual teacher. Let it go. Let it go. My body was saying, I'm committed to reminding you, you haven't let that go. It's still there. And then maybe this week, no, last week. So I just sent a message. And then once I said, I would have appreciated you sharing it with me, because I was now judge me all you want, because I'm embracing it now. I used to didn't want to be judged. I want to be perfect. But whatever. I can't help that. You can't help people judging you. Because if you try to help people judging you and trying to live according to their rules, guess what? You're going to turn around and judge yourself, because you didn't live your truth. So there's always going to be a judgment. When you resist the judgment, it's going to show up somewhere. Welcome to judgment. Let the person judge you. So I said, I would have appreciated you telling me that. I mean, it's all about energy. It's all about relationship. And they read what I said. They didn't respond. The first time they responded quicker. I said, okay. There was that part of me that wants to go, ooh, you, whatever. Small part. But I knew that, it's just funny as I talk about it, that there was something in me that felt incomplete. Like, really? I appreciate who you are and how you're showing up in the world. This is a conversation in my head. And then this is how you relate to me. And the action I needed to do was to unfollow the person. And that was enough. That was me reclaiming my power. Now, you might say that's petty or that's small, no big deal. Whatever. I don't care. I need to do whatever I need to do for me. We must do, because we're always doing what we must do for ourselves, but sometimes we're considering other people. Now, what does that mean? Do you mean just go, if everybody goes around doing whatever they want to do for themselves and not considering other people, then pretty much the world will be, no. I'm talking about a higher consciousness. I'm talking about honoring yourself. I'm talking about honoring the God in you, the God as you. I'm talking about nurturing your inner child. I'm talking about listening to your own feelings and emotion. Some people can meet you, can support you, but oftentimes other people are dealing with their own feelings and emotions. They don't have time for you. They want to, but they don't have the time. So why don't I spend time with me and do whatever I need to do to set me free? Yes, yes. Dr. Naim said, wonderful. Nothing's more contradictory than growing through pain to find peace. I know that's right. Yes, yes, yes. I don't know. I feel like I want to talk about the queen, not talk about the queen, but that whole thing. If we take the conversations, so there's some people who cannot have the conversation because they don't want to face it. We get that. You don't have to worry about that. But wherever you are, you may be, why are people doing that? Oh, ooh, we're going places. We're going places. Okay. Okay. All right. Slow it down. If we take, whether you were triggered or in support of what people are doing, whatever side of the fence, of the wings you're on, how can you take that experience to transform you so you can be a representation of what is good about humanity? That we don't have to enslave or go steal or rape others and display the stuff, even while you're mourning the death of the one who did it. Can you forgive the oppressor? You don't have to. So there's a conversation. I want to say this. Talk about paradox and contradiction. There are people who are saying, no, that's just wrong. The people are celebrating, the Irish were celebrating, what they had this chant, Lizzie's in the box. You shouldn't do that. You shouldn't celebrate death. Perhaps. I have no opinion either or whatever. But some of the people saying that were celebrating when, what's the Saudi Arabian, was that Osama bin Laden, was when they blew him up and his family in America, people were celebrating. People were celebrating, dancing on the street. And I'm willing to bet some of the people today, to last few days, they were saying you should celebrate the death of somebody. Celebrated Osama bin Laden, but now that's different. What's the difference? It's only different when it hits home. It's funny until it's you. It is funny until it's you. How do we turn this around? First of all, when I say turn it around, I'm talking about changing the way we look at pain, changing the way we look at struggle, changing the way we look at suffering, changing the way we look at trouble, where there's divisiveness, injustice. If you're willing to change, you're inviting yourself to go through a painful experience. A mother goes through a painful experience to birth, even if she gets the, what's it called? Epidural. There's still pain there. There's still pain. So when you're inviting yourself, when you're inviting a higher wisdom, you're saying, okay, life, I know you're committed to breaking me open. I'm ready. Sometimes, this conversation may sound like, may make you feel like, oh my God, I'm scared. No, some of you have gone through it. Some of you are in the up and up right now. You've been through the experience. And it may be an opportunity to look back at things that you were judging and criticizing to say, there was some gift in that. I was speaking to another friend and they were telling me about what they're going through. And because of what they're going through, they said, it has actually helped me to tune into spirit even more. That's a surrender. That's a sacred process. That's a sacred process. That's what it's all about, to come back to self, that inner guidance. Like, what is true for me? How do I want to show up in the world? One of the things that's not going to help you if you're trying to be perfect, the perfect spiritual person, the perfect religious person, the perfect parent, the perfect father, the perfect husband, the wife, the mother. That's not going to help. Now you can give yourself permission. So either perfection, perfection or permission. You get to choose. Give yourself permission to have the experience. When you give yourself permission to have the experience, give yourself permission to see differently, you can now step into a new consciousness. You can recognize that you're the transformer, that you're willing to change water into wine. You're shifting your perspective and how you see yourself, how you see life. And say, yeah, sometimes there are aspects of my life where I really can say I'm living the contradiction. I see it. Parents live it. Adults live it. Parents say, don't, you must really focus so you can get a good job and get paid very well. While the parent is working somewhere at a job they don't like, not getting paid well enough, coming home and complaining and talking to the children. You must learn to get a good job so that you can take care of your family. Well, the best way to demonstrate that is to be an example of it. And if you can't get a good job that pays you well, stop complaining about it. If you can't stop complaining about it, quit. And always quit complaining or quit the job, or quit complaining and quit the job. So the invitation is acceptance. It's acceptance that no matter how spiritual, how enlightened, how wise, no matter how many letters you have behind your name, that there's just some things you can't control. Acceptance. Accept what is. And the acceptance doesn't mean you're saying it's right. You're just recognizing that this is what's happening. This is what is happening. When you recognize this is what is happening, you allow yourself, you give yourself the permission, the opportunity, the chance to catch a new thought. When we push back, we're too busy resisting that we can't hear deeper wisdom. It's like, this is not supposed to happen. This is not supposed to be happening. They're too mean, they're too that. Yes, they may be too mean. They may be evil. But you want to break away from that. And how do you do that? First of all, like, this is happening. I don't like it. And you can just say the simplest prayer ever. I need help. God, ancestors, angels, higher self, Abraham, Bashar, Seth, you name it. I need help. And when you say, I need help, the voice of divine beings, the voice of the divine hears you. Because the voice of the divine is what is speaking through and as you. The help may show up immediately. It may be the next day, like what I went through last night and today. And even the solution to what I was sharing earlier, it's not necessarily what I would want to do. But I had the choice. I had the option. I had the tools. And if I dig deep, it's like, if I dig deep and say, well, why didn't I want to do that? Well, first of all, I didn't want to do it, so I didn't even see it as an option until I got to know that my sister couldn't help. And then it's like, there's got to be a way. There's got to be a way. I know there's a way. I know there's a way. That's me saying, help. Help me see. Help me understand. I want clarity. I need to know. There is an answer. There is an answer because God is all-knowing. I am one with God. God is one with me. God is everywhere evenly present. I mean, God, there is no problem. God is problem solved. God, the divine, the Christ consciousness, your higher self is the problem solved. And then the answer bubbled up. It's like, oh yeah, but I really don't want to do it that way. Well, now I have an option. See, that human mind. You get to see your ego mind saying, Yeah, that's an option, but I wanted a different kind of way, like a 4-year. I don't want that. I want the red popsicle. But there's no red popsicle in the house. But that's what I want. Okay. Right now you have yellow or nothing. I don't want it. Okay. We do that as adults. And that's why accepting what is. Like, go for the yellow popsicle. That's what you got. And if you don't want the yellow popsicle, don't go for it. Accept the fact that you wanted the red one. You don't have the red one. What you have is the yellow one, but you don't want that. Then choose to have none. It's fine. Forgiveness helps you accept. Forgiving yourself, even when you betrayed yourself. Forgiving others for what they did to you or didn't do to you or for you. True forgiveness is self forgiveness. And forgiveness is allowing love. Forgiveness is welcoming love and saying, that was painful. That pissed me off. I'm mad. I'm angry. I'm hurt. I'm still grieving what was done to me. They took what is mine. But you know what? I can still allow myself to be loved. By who? By life. By what? God. How? I don't know. But I'm giving myself permission to be loved. And when you allow the love in, it cleanses you. It shifts your mind. And suddenly it may just be you find yourself feeling a little bit more peaceful. Maybe you were pissed and you were 10. Now, because you're allowing love doesn't mean you get to, oh, I'm so joyful. Yeah, I let it go. Sometimes that's denial that doesn't, you end up denying yourself. Maybe you come from 10 to 8. You give yourself permission. You give yourself a chance to catch your own breath. Why would anybody ever do that? This hurts. This is painful. Remember, life coach Ade said, pain is a sacred gift. I don't know. But what if it is a sacred gift? What if life is trying to give me a gift? I don't know, but you drop from 8 to maybe 7, to maybe 6, to maybe 5. You get to a place where you say, I have been praying for a better relationship. I have been praying to increase my income. Maybe it's time to look for another job. Maybe this supervisor, this manager, this coworker is just an angel that God sent, and I missed the message even though they were getting on my goddamn nerve. Maybe that's the nudge that I need. Maybe life is pushing me in the direction of what I've been asking for. When you pray for something and you don't move in the direction, it is painful. When you pray, you got to move in a direction. And you will know when to move if you're listening. And if you don't know when to move, but you're open and say, just guide me. Send me in the right direction. Help me see what I need to see. Even when you're making a mistake, you realize, this is actually leading me to the right thing. I love and appreciate you, Dr. Naim Akbar. Yes, that's what I'm saying. Dr. Naim Akbar asked the question. So, are you saying that we should pray to understand and accept the pain rather than praying to take the pain away? Yes. Yes. Because once we accept, once we understand the pain goes, he's paying attention. Oh, he's relaxed. Okay, now let me do the work. When there's a fire, they say don't run. Or when you feel in pain, they say relax. See, when you tense up, it becomes even more painful because you're resisting. That's not a judgment. It's just recognize sometimes you need to tense up. You need to tense to gather your energy and go like a mother birthing. Mm. You tense up, collect all that power, and then you push. But when you're going through pain, and rather than asking to take the pain away, why not pray for understanding and to accept it? Because once you do, that is exactly what allows the pain to move. Not understanding it, denying it, blinds you. But when you pray to understand it, to accept it, you catch the message. You understand what is happening? It could be just as simple as yes, yes, yes. You're spiritual and you take care of your body and you've decided, you vowed in a class, in a group that you don't use painkiller. Maybe the lesson is go ahead and use that painkiller for now. You know that you're not going to start using painkiller for the rest of your life. But in this moment, in order to focus, go use the painkiller. To ease the pain, it doesn't make you less spiritual. Because you are a spiritual being who have learned to integrate the human and the spiritual. You've learned to say, there's a reason God gave somebody the idea of creating this painkiller. I need it now so I can focus. I need it now so I can stop to meditate, so I can pray. And you, don't do it because I'm saying it. Not that you will, but if you're tempted to do whatever I'm saying, I want to encourage you, don't do it without checking in. To hear from the spirit within you. But I don't know what that sounds like. Well, since this idea came up, like, well, I remember what Life Coach Ade said. I remember what Ade said on the show. He said to just be with it. Well, and then he said check in, but he said don't do it because he's saying to do it, but I'm not sure if I know what the voice is like. I don't know if I know what it sounds like. I don't know if I recognize the voice. Okay, then do that. Do what you heard Life Coach Ade say, Rev D, Dr. Naeem Akbar, Iyanla Van Zandt, Oprah, your daughter, your son, your neighbor, your preacher, the counselor. Just try it. But just be aware and ask God, guide me. I want to understand. We can't even understand all that is happening behind the scenes that is invisible, that is causing us to be here today, that just allows life to flow the way it's flowing, even if it's not the best. There's so much happening in invisible realm that we don't have enough words or enough brain cells to describe it. It could be a scientist that's been working on something for years and years and years. That's even their point of view is just an aspect. It's a limited point of view. This great I am, the great mystery is so much more. So much more. Think of the processes in your body right now. So much is happening. You're listening. You can see. You're probably moving. Maybe you're walking. The blood is flowing. Your neurons are firing. There's so much going on inside of you right now. Pictures are forming in your mind as I speak, as you think. If it was up to you to think of what to do, you think you can do one or two of those? It's all about shifting our consciousness, shifting how we see, and being careful who we're listening to. Being careful who we're listening to, because everybody doesn't have your good in their mind. They don't have your, what is it, your great, what's the phrase? Your good intent in their mind or something like that. I can hear it, but I can't say it, but you know what I mean. And it's not because they're mean, and sometimes because they're mean. We can be mean. You can be mean. I can be mean sometimes. It's part of being human. We do things and like, oh, did I do that? Well, they must have attracted that to themselves, the New Agers and the spiritual beings. Wow, they must have. No, 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 no. We're all in it together. We all make mistakes. We all hurt people. And yes, hurt people hurt people. When you're hurt and you don't heal it, you don't transform the wound, you transmit it. You pass it on. And remember, hurt people hurt people. But don't stop there. Healed people heal people. Even as a society, we're more talk about good people die young. Why do why do bad things happen to spiritual people? In fact, if you're a spiritual person, bad things never happen to you. It's a whole different conversation. We talk about, well, hurt people, hurt people, hurt people. That's just the way it is. No, no, no. That's half the story. The rest of the story is healed people heal people. whether whether you're trying to or not. When you're living in alignment, your presence becomes a service to humanity. When you're out of alignment, your presence brings about pain to humanity. Sometimes you end up adding the same energy you're screaming to be healed. You're adding more of that energy. Everything is energy. And you can't avoid the process of life. What you can do, what I can do, what we can do, as Dr. Naeem Akbar said, pray for understanding, pray for acceptance, acceptance of our own shortcomings, forgiving ourselves for not knowing how to forgive ourselves, accepting the fact that we are finding it hard, I'm finding it hard, you're finding it hard to be loving to yourself because you just find yourself caught up emotionally about something you did that is just hard to forgive, or something that you did or something that was said that you're like, I just don't know why a mother would say that to a daughter, to a son. I don't know why a father would do that. And you just keep playing it over and you can just accept yourself. I want to heal, but I just don't know how. I shared this quote before. I'm going to read it again by Layla Delia. Grapes must be crushed to make wine. Diamonds form under pressure. Olives are pressed to release oil. Seeds grow in darkness. Whenever you feel crushed, under pressure, pressed, or in darkness, you are in a powerful place of transformation and transmutation. Life is hard. Living a spiritual path, being on a spiritual path is challenging. It calls you out, it calls you up, and it calls you up and out of yourself. And if you say, I don't know if I can do it, I just want to live like anybody else, that does the same thing to you. There's a consequence for it all. There's a cost for whatever choice we make. But when we choose to live from an expanded consciousness, to see that there's so much more to life than what I understand, that it can be different. It's going to get better. It gets better, and then it's like, oh shit, I'm feeling this again. It's not better anymore. Oh, and then here it is. Life is all about ebbing and flowing and flowing and ebbing. There's a season for everything. Make room for what you feel. The feelings, the emotions, whether you call it negative, whether you call it positive, if you make room for it, your body will send you so many answers to what is happening. Like when you feel betrayed, when you find yourself in a place where it's painful, if you give yourself permission to just sit with the pain and you're so mad, you feel the heat. And if you can just find a moment to take a deep breath, it turns down the intensity of the heat for a moment. And maybe later on, you just might discover and remember that I remember the last time I felt like this. It was when, whatever, my aunt, my grandparent, my grandmother, my grandfather did whatever. Oh, and I vow that nobody will ever do that to me again. And here I am going through that one more time. Why? Take a deep breath and recognize that life is trying to heal you. In that moment, you can make room for the healing, to feel the heat of what was done to you. And you become the transformer. You become the alchemist. Like transforming, transmuting, changing lead into gold. In the Bible, when it says what man meant for evil, God meant for good. That don't make no sense when you think about it logically. It's like, what do you mean? No, God, can you try another way? I'm referring to the Bible a lot today. Because there's wisdom in it. There's wisdom in many books. It's not the only one. I know people have been abused with that, with religion, not just Christianity, but as it's name it. And someone is in a place of power. However, even the things that were used to oppress, to abuse, can liberate us when we sit long enough and face it. Face oppression, colonialism, face it, and look at it dead in the eye. Say, yes, you strip my people of their gems, of what belongs to them, but it stops today. You took my dignity. You messed up my life. You ruined my credit, but it stops today. It's changing today. I'm going to do everything in my power that you will not have a chance to repeat what you did to me, or that no one ever goes through that again. That's the story of triumph. And sometimes we don't want to hear that. Have you ever tried to affirm people who are going through challenges, and you're affirming them and telling them, what's great? And sometimes, like, yeah, I know. Sometimes we're not even comfortable with what's good about us, what's brilliant about us. We're not comfortable with ourselves, that when the mirror shines on us, we're like, yeah, but you don't understand. I got this issue going on. Yeah. I'm a great coach, but I still have struggles. I'm still dealing with struggles. Sometimes we don't say it out loud, because if we do, we're going to get checked. But we don't say it out loud because we think if we say it out loud, then that means we're less than and there's something wrong. Oh my God. Effing up in your life, in every area of your life, doesn't make you less spiritual or less divine. Both can be true. Yes, Dr. Naeem, I hear that too. Yes, as it comes through, life is trying to heal us. Life is committed to healing us. Life is saying, will you be made whole? It's a different way of thinking. It's a different way of being. We must be willing to rise above. To rise above. Rise above doesn't mean you don't call people out. I told you about my experience. I thought I was rising above, but I never let it go. That's not rising above. I just leave it. I knew what happened, that the thing we did together, why it didn't go out in the world like we thought it was going to work. We said it was going to go out. It was an agreement that we had. But it didn't go out in the world. And I knew why. Because they changed their mind. And I was like, oh, well, I'll be spiritual. I'm not going to check. It's okay. Everything is in divine order. It was okay then. But now I realized, oh, hell flipping no. That was my time and energy. I don't care how long it is. I needed to reclaim myself. I said, look, what happened to that stuff we did? Nah, I just decided not to use it. That's it? No apologies? You damn right I wanted apologies. Oh, now I told you what I feel. It's like, hey, it didn't feel right. I didn't like it. You could at least spoken to me. And then you go quiet? Oh, we don't need to connect. And I'm made whole. That's me transcending. To transcend, to rise above, is to speak the truth, to speak to what wants to be spoken to. Truth to power and power to truth. Rising above doesn't mean, okay, I'm gonna be the what's the one they say? The hold it in that no, the bigger one or whatever. Whatever. I mean, that works. Sometimes be the bigger one, but bigger for you to be bigger than someone is small, someone is less. No. You may not have the words. The other part of this conversation is I used to run from conflict. It's like, oh, I can't deal with it because if I really tell you what I'm thinking and feeling, then you're going to see me as you ain't all that after all. I knew you were just like one of us because I was not comfortable with my own struggles and how I'm showing up. I was not comfortable enough with how I'm showing my human self. There were parts of my humanity that I was denying. So because I felt like if I say something may hurt their feelings or they might hurt my feelings, I'd rather not talk about it. And now I'm ready. It's like I'm not gonna go invite conflict, but when it shows up, I gotta address it. And I'm gonna address the fact that it's time to release this conversation. Ah. In moments like this, I understand the wisdom of God is good all the time. And if you don't know that, if you're not feeling that, I'm knowing it for you. I would even go as far as saying you hearing what you're hearing is hitting the spot. I pray and affirm, hold a vision that you're not thinking, I don't have it in me. Yes, you do, because you are me, I am you. Do what you know to do, because this is what you're here to do, boo. No, for real, though. Do what you know to do. This is just how I show up in the world. There are ways that you can show up in the world. There are ways that you show up in the world that when I see them, like, oh, Lord, I can't do that. Because this is what I was created to be on this planet. We all have our gifts and talent. So I'm here to remind you of this part, this conversation, this story. Show up and remind me of some things where I might be having a challenge. I pray and affirm that whatever you're going through, maybe you're on a high and you're like, yeah, I'm not there anymore. Guess what? It's going to dip one day and then it's going to rise because that's just life. But wherever you are, I am holding, I am affirming the highest and the best for you. That you may see yourself in a new way. That you can recognize that you are truly the place where the divine, where God gets to represent itself. And your life is a unique way in which your ancestors are telling an amazing story. And you have the power now to heal the past in the present moment, so you can create a different future. So if there's anything your parents, your ancestors went through that you think is horrible, guess what? You get to heal it by accepting it and saying it's part of the human experience. I want to see the spiritual in it. Or maybe it's a spiritual thing. Like spiritually, my family has always been dealing with this. Bring the humanity in it. So this misalignment spiritually in my lineage is hard to deal with on the human perspective. I pray for understanding. Thank you, Dr. Naeem Akbar. Thank you, everyone, silent listeners, silent watchers. We're all in this together. I love and appreciate you. And I thank you for showing up. I mentioned last week that I am stepping back as well from Ricky's podcast, So Fulfilling. But every now and then I'll step in this Wednesday, tomorrow, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, 2 a.m. UK time. I'm going to be hosting Ricky's podcast because she's out of town. And next week, Orlando Yoga Massage Therapist. Orlando Yoga, you miss me. You know me. What's your real name? Do I know? Yeah, I know you know me. I see some things that give me a clue. Let me know your name. Yes. So there's some things that I'm just doing differently. And trustfully by next year, I'll have not so many, some things in place. And I'm working, as I said, the book. But anyway, join me tomorrow night. I'm going to be hosting Ricky's show. It is, if you want to find out more, Mary Carmen, MC, how are you? You're trying to trick a sister. You're trying to trick her brother. I saw Flower Sister. Yeah, I know your name. Yes, so if you want to find out more about Ricky's show, you can find out by going to youtube.com, Ricky Byers, /Ricky Byers. You can find out about Sunday Devotional that she does every Sunday, and then Soul Fulfilling. Like I said, I'll be hosting the show for her tomorrow. She's out of town. And if you want to step in, step out, step up into spreading your own message because you're done playing small and you're like, no, but I don't know if I can do a 1 hour show. Well, you can do a 15-minute show. You can do a 15-minute podcast. It is a podcast. Podcast is nothing but an audio recording. You can do it recorded. You can do it live. I'm a rebel. I'm a transformer. I want it live. I want to make my mistake live and deal with what comes up and pray for understanding and be free because it's all sacred. Anyway, libsyn.com, libsyn.com. If you decide to sign up with them, make sure you use my promo code. If you use a promo code, you get at least a month free, depending on when you sign up. If you sign up today, you get the whole of today, the whole of this month free, and the whole of next month. However, you can wait till the 2nd of the month if you want to sign up. If you know somebody looking for a podcast site, check them out. Use the promo code, though, ADE. And if you are at a place where you feel like, whoa, this is so good, I'm so inspired, I want to give a gift, financial gift, I'm on PayPal, Cash App, and Venmo. PayPal is paypal.me/Ade Anifowoshe. Cash App, #, not $, Life Coach Ade, and Venmo is Ade Anifowoshe as well. I'm Googleable, remember that. And, I'm sure you went through your own experience. You can find me on lifecoachade.com, lifecoachade.com to take this to the next level so you can integrate what you heard, what you learned, and let's work together. You can find my podcast on Being You Podcast on IG, and I have another account, Life Coach Ade, on IG. What else? I'm trying to pull up something I can't find, so I won't worry about it. Share the show. I mean, come on, you listened up until this point. Now you can say, yes, whatever your name is, I approve this message. Subscribe on YouTube, youtube.com/Life Coach Ade, because next year, I'm going to be doing my podcast mainly from YouTube. I would announce on Facebook as far as I know, but it's time to shift from Facebook for many reasons. And one of them being YouTube is doing way too much. No, Facebook is doing way too much. That's one thing about YouTube. They've been pretty consistent. Pretty consistent. What else do I want to tell you? I think that's it. I love you. I want to tell you that. I bless you. I appreciate you. And I thank God for you. I invite you to multiply the consciousness. And wherever you are, whatever you're doing, for the love of love, be who you are. Peace and blessings.